Welcome back to the Kent Business Show, live at the Kent Business Show 2026. I'm your host, Rachel Bryan, and today I'm joined by Dr. Ant, who will share the power of a positive mind. We'll explore how mindset helps business owners handle pressure, make better decisions, and stay resilient when plans go awry. Not only will we deep dive into celebrating the happy that's already here, but we'll also interact with our live audience to reflect on how sometimes all you need is a shift in perspective. Let's get ready to unlock that mindset and let's get into it.
Kent is powered by business, and every business has a story. Join your host, Rachel Bryan, on the Kent Business Show as she meets the businesses powering Kent, sharing their journeys, their experiences, and what they've learned along the way. A real conversation with real people, giving you real inspiration. This is the Kent Business Show, powered by your video team.
Okay, well, welcome to the Kent Business Show live at the Kent Business Show 2026. I am so privileged and honoured to be joined by Dr. Ant. Dr. Ant, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much. It's wonderful, isn't it? And if only I could wear clothes that colour and get away with it.
I bet you could. I bet it'd look amazing.
Only on a Saturday night.
Incredible. So, Dr. Ant, for those who are watching later, tell us who you are and tell us a little bit about your journey as to how you got here as well.
Sure. So, what we're going to talk about today, I'm not going to be taking us on a negative story, but what I will be doing, we will be going through a little bit of a roller coaster. So heads up, first of all, I will be touching on some mindset stuff, which also concerns suicide as well. But don't worry, there's a happy ending at the end of it, all right? So it's nothing to be worrying about too much. So I just wanted to get that out there as a housekeeping warning right up front. So my backstory, and we'll keep this nice and short because there's some interactive stuff coming up at the end towards this as well. So I'm going to try and keep my talk to about 15 minutes, if that's all right.
Absolutely.
And then we've got some questions to involve you guys as well. Now, as I'm talking, if there's things that resonate with you and you want to connect with me, you can see on the screens here the QR code. And the QR code is to my LinkedIn account, and I would love to connect with all of you in the room. But as we move on, you'll see some other use of the screens. I'll be bringing up a QR code to make stuff interactive on your phone as well. But don't worry about that just at the moment. I'm giving you the heads up, giving you the seed now, so that when we get there, we all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, make sure you're connected to the Wi-Fi, because you will need a little bit of that too. Yeah,
that's it. I had a bit of a pickle. I don't know about anybody else trying to get on the Wi-Fi. I tried to get on the one on the brochure, but it wouldn't work for some reason, so I've jumped on as a guest. So jumped on a guest and assumed that I'm staying here for a few nights, and it seems to work wonders. So who knows? Right, here we go then. So I've been in business all my life since I was 13, and I've worked really hard, you know, and I started work as selling eggs of all things, doing a little egg round. And then I followed that journey throughout my life, just doing the best thing that we think we ought to do in business. I followed that dream of the Western way that we think and we work, being that entrepreneur of always doing the best that we can. And I've always grown up thinking if you just work hard, you get good results, right? So that's been my ethos all the way through. It's just graph all the way through. So I didn't go to university. That wasn't really the case back then, because that was a long time ago. We just worked and we tried to do our best at school, and I didn't do very well at school, I've got to be honest. I did get an O-level in woodwork, but I made a wonky table, so they then wrote that off, which wasn't very nice.
That wasn't the school we were looking for, no.
No. So on this journey of life, I then decided to follow in footsteps of my family and run my own businesses, and fast forward to 2012. So during the past sort of 40 odd years in business, 40 plus years, I've done several things. I've bought and sold boats. I used to import boats from America. I created a brand of tea. And the brand of tea I created was called Cho Young Tea. It's a brand of weight loss tea, and we were the #1 product in Holland and Barrett in 2012. I mean, out of all their product range, we were the absolute #1. So it was a very successful business. We had our sales and marketing in New York, our back-end infrastructure was in Delhi, all our financial processing was in Iceland, all our taxation and corporation planning was in Cyprus. So this was a very substantial business. So people would look at me that I used to go to school with and say, "And how the heck have you done this? What's been going on?" And I say, "Well, I've just done the best I could do and worked really hard." But what's really weird is when those words of like "well done," they just landed really weirdly. And they used to land, almost like insincerely the way they landed with me. And I used to say, "Oh, I just do my best," and almost embarrassed to accept the success. It's really, really, really weird. So what happened was I did end up achieving what we all want to achieve in this world, right? I had all the money, all the cars, a fantastic partner, and we're still together to this day. She's an absolute rock in my life. Great kids, everything's all tickety-boo, as they say, right? But, here comes the but. I had everything we think we want, but the more stuff I was achieving, the more unhappy I was getting. It was really quite perverse. It just didn't make sense. So I just kept chipping away, trying to do the best that we can do. And I now know what was happening to me back then, but I didn't know then what I do now because of the journey that I'm now on. I was in a place called deferred happiness. Right? I'm going to explain this, and I'm sure you're...
We've already touched on this before so that I could understand exactly where we were going to be talking and how also we could get you guys involved without sort of really highlight to you that you're not alone in your journey, and that we're all in this bubble of entrepreneurship, and we all feel like we're struggling on our own, but actually it's the whole point of this is to do it. And I spoke to you about an analogy when you explained it to me.
So this thing called deferred happiness, it goes like this. You all know these words, right? We've heard them, we've even said them ourselves, and they go like this. I'll be happy when. I'll be happy when I move home. I'll be happy when I get a new car. I'll be happy when I'm on holiday. We all use these phrases all the time, don't we? I'll be happy when, because we're kind of, excitement for the future. The challenge is, I now know, but I didn't know then, that when we program our minds for an outcome in the future, our mind is always looking for the outcome in the future. Makes sense when I say it like that. But our unconscious mind just runs without emotion. It just follows through a set of orders. So if I constantly said to myself, Ant, you look really shit today, guess how I would feel?
Really shit.
Yeah, because our unconscious mind then starts to fill our bodies with all the chemical reactions that make us feel the way we think. And that's what I now talk about. It's actually being really aware of how you think, because however you think is how you'll end up feeling. And however you feel is how you'll end up acting. And however you act is what you end up delivering. It all starts with thought about the way you think. Now, when I was saying about living in deferred happiness, if I start the sentence with you all in the room now and say, Humpty Dumpty sat on there, before I'd even finished, you've already got the word wall in your mind. Because you're always forward planning. You're always trying to work out what's going to happen next. And that's the way that the human mind works. We try to forward plan so we meet our expectations. I'm sure that us in the room here have done it. A little while ago, I was thinking about changing my car. And the particular car I wanted was silver. The next thing, every other bugger's got a silver car. And I'm sure it's the same when ladies like your AI is looking for a new outfit for you. When you suddenly decide, well, I'm looking for a new outfit and I want a lovely coral colour, every other bugger's wearing a coral outfit.
Yeah.
Well, perhaps not, but you'll notice it. And that's because we have this part in our brain called the reticular activation system, which sets us up for managing our forward expectations, so we know when we meet those expectations. Because then we get to live with it. And this is what all the younger generation talk about manifesting. I mean, I could do a whole talk about manifestation, but that's where manifesting comes from, is that we're setting ourselves up for positive or negative.
Well, when you explained it to me, I likened it to like you're running a race, and we're all running that race of business, and we're looking for that next client. And as you sign that next client, we then already move the finish post to, well, if I have 3 more, well, now I can buy.
Yeah.
So before you've even celebrated that win that you've been going for, you've moved the finish line along. And so we're never actually celebrating the wins we're getting.
That's so true. And here's the problem. When we don't experience happiness in the here and now, we start to become unhappy. Because happiness is an emotion we can only feel in the here and now. Sure, we can look back at the past, we can look back at memories, and we can think, oh, they were great memories. But we're bringing that emotional experience into our gut in the here and now to feel it now. And sure, we can be excited about the future and stuff's going to happen, that's great. But that experience of excitement and happiness and energy, we're bringing that into the here and now, because we can't feel a feeling which hasn't happened yet. And that's what the future is. And we can't change a feeling which has happened in the past, because it's already been and gone. But what we can do is bring it to the here and now. Now, this leads me to the point about deferred happiness. When we don't experience happiness in the here and now, because let's face it, when we come out of the womb, we're all destined, most of us, to be happy souls. It's only living through the life that makes us miserable buggers. And we end up like missing out on expectations and stuff like that. That's what creates us who we are. So when we're living a life of living in deferred happiness, we never experience happiness in the here and now. So by default, we become unhappy. Okay. Now, this is a little bit of the warning I said to you. Although I had all this stuff that we think we want in this world, I ended up in such an unhappy place because I was always chasing happiness and I was never experiencing it for today. Now, I'm not going to go too deep into this, but I'll just give you the overview. Although I had everything we think we want in this world, I ended up in a place where I was 30 seconds away from taking my own life. Just let that sink in. I had everything that we think we want. And it was bloody madness. Looking back on it then, from a position of now, I can see it was wrong thinking. But at that time, I thought, I just had enough of this. It's too much stress. It's too much overwhelm. Too many spinning plates. Too many people chasing my money. They they didn't really want me as a person. They just wanted what I had, right? So it took me to such a dark place. And I have to smile about this to bring you back up the positive side of this journey. I was about to disappear off this planet. I knew exactly what I was doing because I didn't want to be a halfway house. And I didn't tell anybody because I didn't want anyone to stop me. This was absolute, right? And I was sitting at the farm table at the farm near Sevenoaks. Lovely day in April. Oh yeah, it's about now, isn't it? Yeah, it was about this time of year. And I was sitting there and I was about to go, and a robin, a little bird, came down and landed beside me at the table. And this little robin sat down beside me and chirped. And I thought, well, what are you so chirpy about? But when this robin chirped, I thought, hang on a minute, it's either shouting out for its mate, calling out for its kids, or defending its turf, telling me to start off, get out of its way. And when those three things hit me, I thought, shit, these are the most important three things in life. Kids, partner, security, your own turf, your own home. These are the most important. None of this stuff. I used to like cars. I had 19 of the buggers. I couldn't drive them all at once, could I? What was I going to do with 19 of them? And I realised actually all this material stuff and chasing tomorrow and chasing the happiness, actually, it's what we're all programmed to do in the West. But actually, it can take you to a very dark place if you don't appreciate it in the here and now. And this is the reason for today's talk. It's all about actually not just using positive words and stuff like that, but it's appreciating that if we don't have our thinking right, it can take us to the wrong place. It won't take us to where we really want to be. And that's what this is all about here today. So from that, what then happened was I rebound out of that dark corner. And I won't use the words that I used at the time, but I did swear at myself an awful lot. And I gave myself some proper telling offs. And I realised, hang on a minute, I know that this is letting down my kids, my family. No, I'm not doing that. And as I come out of that corner, I thought, I need to understand what went wrong here because I don't want to get back in this place again because that's not a very nice place. It took me a year to get to that place, by the way. That wasn't a knee-jerk, that was a year of planning to get me to that 30 seconds away. And what happened was that I needed to understand three questions. Why did I feel the way I felt? Why did I do the things I did? And what could I do to be who I wanted to be? And I then went on a mission and I then spent the next few years becoming Bob the Builder because I had to build myself a home for my family because we had no money because in the end I lost everything. I made so many wrong decisions because I wanted to get away from the stuff which was causing me grief. So I just made wrong decisions and got everything and started all over again. So I started all over again. Basically I did Control-Delete at the age of 50. Now the reason why I say this is because just about all of you in the room are much younger than me. And when we get to the point of being 50 years old, most of us think we're over the hill and that's it, we're too much. But we're not. Because when we get to the age of 50, it gives us a fantastic opportunity to go, do you know what? I can do whatever I bloody well want. Because we've finally forgotten and we've let go of all those things that we used to carry about, what will they think of me? Am I good enough? All that stuff we actually learn to let go as we get a bit older. So I decided to do Control-Delete at age 50 and start all over again. And I thought, the thing I'm going to do is I don't want to be in that dark corner again, and I'm now going to set myself up on a mission to help other business owners and entrepreneurs either, one, never get into that place, or if they are in that place, show them how to navigate out of it. That's my mission now. So I'm now on that mission to do exactly that.
Because you've used this analogy a couple of times, the dark corner. When we spoke, you said that you truly felt like when you go into the corner of a room and just put your head down and there's no light coming in at all. And it was when you took a step back from that, when that robin landed and you took that step back, that glimmer of light that appeared. And then when you turned round, you saw how much there was around you and how much support there still was. And it was then where you've studied and found the tools that then that's what we can talk
Absolutely right. Yeah, I say that it was like standing in a corner of this room. You know, imagine walking right into the corner, really tall walls, and it was pitch black. And wherever I looked, I couldn't see anything. I just see black and I couldn't see a way out. And it's only when I started to think differently, I realised all I've got to do is turn around, the light's behind me. You know, we realised at that point, actually, there is so much light and support out there. And I don't mean in a religious way, or I found God or any of that kind of stuff. I'm just talking about feeling the light, you know, just seeing a different way of seeing things, if that makes sense. So what I did, I studied the big minds like Einstein, Milton X, and all those kind of things. And I got to realise that actually, we're a weird bunch, us entrepreneurs, because we think and feel differently to everyday people. And when I was in a pickle and I went to go and see the doctor, the first thing the doctor said is, well, Ant, you need to go on some happy pills. I thought, well, okay, well, they seem to be all the go, let's have a go. Then they then sent me to have some therapy, and I thought, okay. And they said, well, you might be in a waiting list for 12 months, but we'll see what we can do. So I did go and see a therapist. Well, actually, I saw 4 of them. And what I soon realised was that as an entrepreneur and business person, my mind thinks differently to a lot of everyday people, because we evaluate things differently from a risk, from a reward, from a purpose, from why do we do the things we do. So it then hit me, hang on a minute, this is also different the way we think. So I then went to work out, well, it didn't work with working with a therapist, because being an entrepreneur and being a controlling person, as in, you know, like we want to be controlling everything in business, I ended up becoming a therapist. So the therapist would walk in the room saying, well, actually, how are you today? And it was like completely weird. So I thought, well, this is wrong, isn't it? I can't be the therapist of the therapist. What do I know? But that's the way that we ended up going. In fact, one therapist did tell me this, and this is a really little short story. I wasn't going to talk about this today, but I'm going to talk about it because it's quite funny. I remember seeing one therapist, and she took me down a rabbit hole. And there's a question, by the way. If ever you're talking to somebody that's in a bit of a pickle, this is a question you never ever ask them, right? This lady asked me this question. This is the question. So, Ant, tell me something good about yourself. Now, I can tell you, when you're in a pickle, if you're in a hole and you don't think good about yourself, the last thing you want to try and do is be like a rabbit in the headlamps and try and think something good about yourself. Because if you can't,
you feel worthless.
And then you've got a position of authority in front of you validating the fact, oh, well, you must be really shit then if you really can't think of anything seriously good about yourself in front of a professional. And she could see my glare in my eyes, and she realised she'd taken me to the edge of a rabbit hole, which she should never have done. And she turned around to me, and these words will never forget me, because this is one of the reasons why I do what I do now. She turned around and she goes, well, Ant, you've got lovely eyes. And I thought, well, that's very nice, but I'm actually very nicely attached to somebody, thank you very much. But the reality was, it makes you realise, actually, when people try and help, sometimes they just don't know they're trying to do the right thing. But that made me realise, actually, as a business owner, entrepreneur, I'm on a bloody mission now, because there needs to be proper help, proper support to help people in a pickle when they're in business. So this then moves us on very nicely to the next bit, which is during my career as a business mindset expert, because that's what I do now. I talk on stage, I take a large audience on an emotional journey of change from where they are to where they want to be. Because let's face it, who in this room here doesn't want to change anything for the positive? No one, right? We all want something different. We all want something different, whether that's more time, more money, more holidays, more time with the family, whatever it may be. But actually, most of us don't realise that we need to change the input to change the output. Or maybe we do know we need to change the input, but we don't know how. And that's what I do, is I show people how to change the input so they do have a different output, so they can be who they want to be in business life and beyond. Now, over the past year, I've been working with Mind. You know the charity Mind? Fantastic organisation, right? Mind are fantastic at helping what I call everyday people with everyday problems, and they do that with everyday solutions. It's absolutely brilliant. What they don't have is any understanding of how a business owner's mind works, how our minds work, because we're wired up wrong. I know, we're wired up differently.
Better. We're wired up better.
So much better. So what we're doing with Mind is we're putting together a support platform for business owners in a pickle. That's not the official strap line, but that's what I call it, right? Because that's what it is, that works. It's helping small business owners and entrepreneurs, if they do get in that little bit of a situation, that there's help and support there, specifically tailored, written and delivered by people who have been there themselves.
And this is where we're going to bring the audience in now, right?
Yeah.
So we've got some questions. Well, I say we, Dr. Ant, I just get to sit here in luxury with it. But Dr. Ant's created some questions. This is about anonymity as well. Is we've all been in those situations where you're sat in a room like this and go, who feels this? And you think, well, I do. I'm not sticking my hand up and telling any of you lot because I'm a successful business person and that's what I have to always portray. However, we also understand that in a room like this, sometimes there are those moments where you just feel a bit lost and you are stuck in that dark corner. Hopefully, this is the option to see that there's a little bit of light around you and right behind you. We're all here with you as well. So
very nicely
give that a
put.
cue,
Very
Art.
nicely put.
Yeah.
So what I use is this bit of kit called Slido, and what it is, interactive phone voting on your mobile phones. Right. So against what most events do, they say, "Can you please switch your phones off?" I'm actually going to ask you to switch your phone on. Okay. So what I'm going to ask you to do is to scan that QR code on the scene there. So make sure you've got your Wi-Fi signal, you're online or what have you. And it'll come up and I'll show you the page and it will say there's no interaction yet. But don't worry, let's just get this code scanned in your phone first. As Rachel was saying, when you answer the questions on here, it is 100% anonymous. There is no way of knowing who's answered what. Okay. And what this does is we are hardwired as human beings as a tribal species. We forget that we are a tribe. And what happens is when we start to realise, actually, we all think and feel the same, it makes us think, okay, well, it's quite normal to feel like this. It's quite normal to feel stressed. It's quite normal to feel overwhelmed. So do I need to leave that up for anybody else before I go on to the next slide? Has everybody managed to get that QR code? Fantastic. Now, when you log in, this is what your first screens you're going to see. You'll see a blank one at the moment. It says there's no current polls or something like that. But when I pose the first question, you're going to see where you can select your choice as an answer. You're going to click send, but just note where it mentions in the red circle there, this is anonymous. So look, let's just do the first question. So you should have pinged up on your phone now as a test, what is the best use for this? So if you can answer that, just click on the eat it, juice it, or wear it, if there's some weird people in the room.
I feel like I've worn it today.
Oh yeah, you're there.
You
You can answer it at the bottom right. So if you can start to send those answers right now, as you start to send the answers, you'll start to see them come in, or not. Is anybody clicked on it?
So I've just logged into the Wi-Fi, so I'm a little bit slow.
That's all right.
Could we have it speed back, sorry?
You certainly can. You got that one there? Is that the one you want?
Thank you.
I'm just going to make sure, because I... Well, do you know what? It might not be you, it might be me. Because, there we go. It should come up whether you... active poll. I'm a little bit worried because nothing's coming up on the system here.
I was going to say, it's just...
Yeah, it says 21, so we should be there. Do you know what? It's all right. By the way, it's my fault. It was operator error. I didn't push the button. Okay, so there we go. You all know how your system works now, right? So we've got 73% eating it and juicing it 36. Now, here comes the next question, ready? So these questions are your point of view. So I want you to answer these questions honestly. I mean, really honestly, okay? Because this gives us the information. So look, how often do you feel overwhelmed by your business?
So I said when Dr. Ant sent this through to me, and I said I am an open book, and anyone who follows me on my Facebook and Instagram page will see my whole journey is about showcasing that business and personal life are one of the same and aren't always easy. There are some great highs, but there are some great lows too. And I could absolutely, I'm happy to answer these out loud as well. So you know that you've got an ally in the room. And right now, for me, it is every day.
Right.
I wonder whether I should get off the roller coaster. I didn't realise I jumped on.
Do you know what's really interesting? Whenever I do this, people are still a little bit wary at the very beginning about pushing the button because they've got to own up to themselves as well sometimes. Actually, I do feel quite overwhelmed. I'm going to be a hero, though. I'm not going to take that.
Oh, I'm going to succeed, but it's still bloody overwhelming every day.
Let's go on to the next one here. So, look, how easy do you feel it to switch off from your business? How does that work for you?
I didn't know you could switch off from your business. I mean, I'm married to the partner in my business. I mean, the kids want to be part of the business. There is no
difficult. Look at that. Never. Oh my God, a third of us in this room never switch off from our business. That's insane, isn't it? So 66% of us are either on all time or we find it really difficult to switch off.
And if I do switch off, I get guilty. I feel
Never.
guilt.
Look at that.
Yeah.
It's wow. And the reason for doing this is so we realise that we're all the same. You know, we all have these difficulties in thinking of the things that we think and how that affects us, as I mentioned earlier on, about thoughts, feelings, actions, outcomes. Here you go. Hit us on to the next one now. I have to lean forward because I can't see it. So, have you ever questioned whether you can keep going in business? This isn't just now. This is at any point in time when you've been running your businesses. Have you been pushed to that edge when you think, do you know what? I can't be doing this anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. Often, very often. Like, I think there are those moments, like you said, like a personality like mine is, my highs are high, but my lows are low. And when I have those lows, and I said earlier in the panel discussion, I thrive on dopamine. So at the point that I haven't got that dopamine here, I'm questioning whether I'm good enough for business, whether I'm doing the right thing, all of that. I mean, poor Ben goes through a right emotional roller coaster with me. He's like, all the time. Sit up. Oh no, sorry.
Instructions.
Thank you, sweetheart.
But don't forget, he's got Nina as well.
Yeah, but she's trained on my behalf, so
That's what you think. He's got more techie skills.
Yeah, they're valid.
All joking aside here, let's look at this because there's another talk I do and I'm just going to touch on some of it. Do you know what? When we get in what I call the poo zone, it's actually really good. And the reason why I say that is that as human beings, when we learn to develop, we have to fall over first to know that the scratches hurt, to know not to do it again, to learn how to get up and how to walk without falling over again. So actually, I'm going to use a swear word, so you might have to bleep this out when it comes to editing it, but I'll be very softly with it. Sometimes we have to get in the shit.
Yeah.
Because it's only for them, when we're in it, that we actually learn how to get out of it, because we don't want to be in it. So sometimes it's really good to be in what I call the poo zone.
Yeah.
And the poo zone is the place where we don't want to be.
It's where the roses grow.
Oh, I love that. I'm going to nick that.
You can have that.
Thank you. Because we need to be in that place to learn where we don't want to be. We need to be uncomfortable, right? Because when we're comfortable, it creates us to be stagnant. When we're comfortable, we don't want to move. We only want to move when we're uncomfortable. And that's what it's about. We need to be in the poo zone because it makes us uncomfortable to learn and grow and develop. So on to the next one here. How easy is it for you to find... Oh, hang on.
Have you
How easy
have you
do
gone back?
I don't think I did I? Maybe I did. Yes, I did. What creates the most pressure for you right now? Yeah, if you want to... Actually, this one's set to multiple choice. If you want to do all of them, you can click the lot if you like.
Oh, really? Well, yeah, finance and cash flow has definitely got to be something that is and workload and time. And probably decision making. Yeah, okay, I'm all for these. Because the decisions come in with the workload and the time. Am I putting my work where I should be? Am I choosing to work on the right things? And then is that the right cash flow coming in? How am I going to afford to do that when I need this to come in first? Chicken and egg all the time.
I think I counted 14 spinning plates then.
It's hard up here.
That's a challenge, right, isn't it? It's like, it's trying to work out what to do first. And that really takes us to that point of actually, we can't do 14 things at the same time. And sometimes we've just got to focus on one. One thing we can do right here, right now. You know, earlier on I spoke about past, present and future, where happiness sits. We can't experience the past because it's gone and the future doesn't exist anyway. So we just need to look at what can I have an impact on right here, right now, right this very minute, and move that forwards. Thank you. Here we go. How confident are you? I think this is the last question, actually. How confident are you in your ability to handle the next 12 months in business? Now, the gung-ho of us, yes, I can handle anything.
Oh, did you hear that comment? Did I say that out loud? I was like, yeah, I'm ready. Come on, let's do
Let's
this.
make it happen.
But
The reality is that we need to have that, don't we, to be entrepreneurs? Otherwise, we'll just give up and go home.
yeah.
We have to have that. And it's really important that we do have that. So it's actually, when we bear in mind, and look at the stats earlier on, like 66% of us were like, find it really difficult to switch off or never switch off from business. However, the majority of us, 40%, we're feeling quite confident about moving forwards for the future. And that's the thing that makes us different as entrepreneurs and business people. That's why we're not everyday people, because everyday people would find things difficult. If they're 66% of the time like overwhelmed, overworked, underpaid and had enough, you wouldn't see the same amount of confidence, sorry.
No, I think it's funny because no matter how many conversations I have with how many different business owners, last year I did 266 interviews, and I would say every one of them said, I'm my own worst client, and I left my job so that I could become better at work-life balance. What's that? And I've yet to meet anyone. But yet we all go, but I'm going to do it. We'll get there one day. And that is that drive, isn't it?
Absolutely. You've just got to keep going, haven't you? Now look at this. I'm going to teach you a tool here. In fact, I'm going to ask for some examples, first of all. In your own minds, right? You don't put your hands up for this, right? Because this is your stuff. This is private and personal to you, right? Have you spoken to yourself already today in a worse way that you talk to your pet dog or cat? Right? We do, right? We would never talk to a pet dog and say, God, I don't like you. But we find we talk to ourselves like that sometimes. We would never talk to our loved one, our partner or our kids, and say, God, you're ugly.
Don't.
He's brave.
He's beautiful, isn't he?
He's lovely. But we wouldn't we? But we do to ourselves. And that's something I want to really ask you to think about, is because whatever you say to yourself consciously, your unconscious mind is taken as an instruction. And bearing in mind that our unconscious mind is in control 95% of the time, we're only conscious 5% of these conversations, and our unconscious mind can process 1 million times the amount of data per second compared to our conscious mind. So whenever we have a conscious thought, we're actually given an instruction to our unconscious mind to be what we're saying. So if I look at myself in the mirror and say, God, ain't you shit, aren't you? You know what my unconscious mind is going to be telling myself. And then I'll start to feel that from a medical point of view, because I'll start to feel that from a chemical reaction in my body. Now, look, we've got 5 minutes left. We're going to wrap this up with this last 5 minutes, if that's all right, with
Absolutely.
this full stop. This is the way full stop works. It's really bloody weird, but it works, okay? And I urge all of you to be really aware of what you're saying to yourself. And when you hear yourself say something to yourself that you would not say to your loving partner, kids, dog, I want you to shout at the top of your voice to yourself the words full stop. This might sound really bloody weird, but it is weird for a start off. I mean, if you're walking through the middle of Lidl and then all of a sudden you shout out full stop, because you shouldn't be doing that, you'll probably get a few looks and chucked out by security. But the reality is that when you create the words full stop at the top of the voice in your mind, you're creating what's called a PGO spike. You know when we're watching horror films and we get made jump? Something scares us, we physically get scared. That's called a PGO spike. That's setting you up a stress response to deal with something that's coming your way, right? It enables you to change the way you think and feel. It creates an opportunity for you to have a pause in the way you process stuff. That's what full stop does. When you shout full stop to yourself, verbally or just in your mind, first of all, your mind goes, what? I never say full stop to myself. But by doing this, it creates you the opportunity to have an awareness of what you was thinking just now, for you to go, stop this. I'm better than that. I can move forwards. This is not American yeehaw and hype. This is real, proven scientific facts. Actually, when we do full stop to ourselves, we create a thing called a PGO spike, which enables us then to take control of the way we think, because we know, as I said at the very beginning, whatever we think we become. Now, normally in a room with a lot more people, I'll get us to shout the word full stop so we can really pee off the people next door. But I'm not going to do it today, because we'll all have to shout really, really loudly, because it's quite a nice small room. But look, I really urge you to do this. This is a tool that I really urge you to take away and just think about. When you feel yourself getting wound up, frustrated, fed up, don't like yourself, don't like the world, just shout to yourself full stop. And if you can find a nice quiet place in your house or your home, go and shout it at the top of your voice as well, because it's like doing it on steroids then.
Fantastic. Dr. Anne, I mean, that's a great tool, and one that I know if you ever see me walking around shouting full stop, then you know why. I was just about to say, you also have your book. So if people want to get hold of that, they can find that
Yep.
from you. And you've got your event coming up. So I'd highly recommend getting in touch. The LinkedIn as well. Go and find Dr. Ant on LinkedIn. On the LinkedIn? How retro.
On the Facebook.
On the Facebook. Oh my God, this is recorded. So I'm so cool. So yeah, go and find Dr. Ant on LinkedIn. Go and check out the event as well. You'll get more tools. There is so much you can learn from Dr. Ant. The story was just the tip of the iceberg. I would highly recommend. Dr. Ant, thank you so much.
Thank you. And my 30-second roundup is that the book's called Quick Wake Up the Pilot. The book's on Amazon. You can buy it on Amazon. It's called Quick Wake Up the Pilot, and it shows you as individuals how to go from where you are to where you want to be in business life and beyond. The book's about you. It's not about me. When you read the book, there's a lot of people in this room that have read the book, and they ring up and send me messages on a Saturday saying, Anne, I've read the book, it's brilliant. So do that, get the book, it really will change the way you look and feel. And the event, I'm running this event, as it says here, in a few weeks' time. This event is myself and 7 other speakers that take everybody on a journey of change. These are real-life speakers. I'm very privileged to have some of the people in the room here today. And this journey will show people how to be who they want to be. That's it from me, unless there's any other questions. Is there anything else from yourself?
No, that's it. That is the Kent Business Show podcast. Please go and check it out. It is on the website, and you can even be a guest on it as well. So if you want more information, please let us know. You can come and find us. We're currently on stand 54. If you're listening to this later, go and check it out at thekentbusinessshow.co.uk. Dr. Ant, thank you again.
Well, Rachel, thank you. Big round of applause for Rachel. Thank you.
There you go. If you've enjoyed this episode and you're a Kent-based business owner with a story to share, we'd love to hear from you. You can find out how to be a guest on the Kent Business Show using the link below. Be seen, be heard, be unforgettable.